All right, guys, it appears we are actually live on Facebook, which is good news. Welcome to today's Fireside Coffee Chat for January 29th, 2020. I got a few different topics to talk about today. I'm going to do some live prospecting because let's face it, prospecting is like the most important thing that we do as network marketers. Otherwise, we're not prospecting, our business is not going to grow. So I'm going to continue to do a lot of prospecting on these, but I do also want to do a little bit of talking and coaching and masterminding about how to talk to prospects, what to say to them. And also, I wanted to start off with just a quick talk about what you can do to help your team get off the ground, whether it's a new team, older team, small team, big team, it doesn't matter. I just want to go over some of that stuff. So for those of you watching on Facebook, if you're commenting in the comments, I don't really watch the Facebook comments while I'm on here. So hop on the Zoom call. The post is in the group with the ID number. If you're on the call and you can show your face, that would be fantastic. If you can't, for whatever reason, it's fine. Don't sweat it, but I just like to have as many faces on here as possible because this is more about an open forum where we could ask questions and talk about stuff than it is people listening to me talk for an hour, which I'm sure if you ask my wife, she would tell you that that would be boring AF to listen to me talk for an hour. So kudos to you guys who are doing it, sucking it up and listening to me. I just want to make sure that my video is showing here. I'm sure that it is. Where is it? Okay, go to the group. All right, so yeah, we're live. We're all good. We're all good. And if you're an affiliate watching in the Facebook group, you can. We have a public group. Don't forget, you can share this to your team group or chat. You can also feel free to host a watch party if you want to show other people the value that we provide inside this group. So real quick, and this is just, actually the people that are on this call are not the ones that really need to hear this. Sadly, it's the people that aren't plugging in that need to hear this. But I'm going to say this in the hopes that for anyone that's newer, or maybe you're not so new, but you're new to this team and you're plugging in for the first time, or this happens to be the once in a blue moon where you are plugging in and watching something. Everybody on this call knows what they're plugging in and they're getting their teams plugged in. So this talk is really not for you guys. But what I notice is that I have people that say to me, I'm working really hard. I'm starting to do more. I want my team to grow. I want my business to grow. Maybe they previously had more volume and it went down, or they've been around the same for a while and it hasn't gone up, or whatever it is. But I don't see them on any trainings. And I'm not saying, I do this 3 days a week. You can't make them all. You can't make them all. But I don't see them on any trainings. I don't see them inviting or tagging anyone under the weekly business presentations. I don't see them hosting any watch parties of the business presentation. I don't see them commenting and tagging their team members underneath like posts for trainings saying, hey, plug into this. So the point is, like, your actions really have to match what your goals are. If your goal is to just make extra money with this business, then that's perfectly fine. But that's not really going to happen unless you start plugging into some stuff. If your goal is to earn a full-time income, like to do this as a full-time business eventually, like I do, I mean, I plugged in the stuff left and right. I was super serious about trainings. I was super serious about applying everything that I was trained on. I was motivated to do it. And you got to do that. I mean, if you want your team to grow, you got to promote, you got to, first of all, you got to show up. You got to show up yourself, because you can't promote something to other people and tell them to do it and then you're not doing it. It just, not everybody can make every call, but I mean, show up. You got to show up. Be plugged in. Get your team plugged in. When you see a training announced, when you see another event announced, you got to tag your team members under the call. You want them to get on the call. You want them to be aware of it. Maybe they're not seeing all the group posts because they're doing this part-time, or they might be at work, or whatever the reason is. Tag their name so they see it. Tag all your directs. I'm not saying like tag every single person in your team, but if you have one person under you, tag that one person. If you have 2 people or 10 people, tag those people that are active. I'm not saying go out there and tag everybody, tag someone that hasn't ordered for 3 months, but tag the people that are active, tag the people that are ordering. Let them know what's going on. And then when they hop on the call or the training or the business presentation, or they go to the event or whatever it is, make sure they see your face there. Because that's really what's going to help your team grow. And again, everyone on this call does that. I've seen them doing it. So it's really just, I'm hoping that people that really aren't plugging in that much, that somebody that decides to just watch this replay today or is watching this live in the group sees this and decides to start changing their daily habits, because that's what it's all about. And then the last thing is promote. When you have a team, you always need to be promoting the next training, the next business presentation, the next call, the next event. With us, it's the next road show, the next convention. You always have to be promoting the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Whether you can personally make every single one of them or not, hopefully you can make a lot of them. But if you can personally make them all or not, you got to be promoting. Paula Oakman, and Paula knows what I'm talking about. You have to promote. You have to show up, and if you're not informing your team members of everything that's going on, they're not going to plug into anything, especially if they're part-time. And most people in this business are part-time, and they're doing it for some extra income. So if you want them to plug into stuff, you have to make them aware. You got to let them know. Get them in the groups, tag them on calls. Whatever your team group is, tag them under stuff that's going on. So that's really all I have. That's my motivational start for the day. But again, everyone who's on this call does this stuff. So I'm like preaching to the choir with the people on this call. But if you're just catching this and you're just hoping that, man, I want my business to take off, that it all starts with that. It all starts with being present and inviting the others that are in your team to be present over and over and over and over again. It's their choice whether they're going to do it or not. Like, I invite everybody. I have a private chat where, maybe at this point in my business, I have too many people where I can't tag like every single person every single time. But I have a private chat with all those people, and you can bet all of them see everything that's going on the second it's announced. Sometimes they see goofy humor and stupid gifs too, but they see all the important stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anybody have anything to say on that subject? I'm gonna look for what I got here. Oh man. Paula Oakman, you're really good at getting people plugged in. See, Paula does what I do. She gets on a Zoom call with her team and does prospecting and shows them exactly what they need to do. And the ones that are doing it, I'm sure, Paula, you'll agree, the ones that follow it and do it get results. Because I see you posting them.
Yeah, we've been getting really good results. Paula has been up since 7 a.m., but I am still drinking my jug of coffee. I don't know what's going on with me today.
7 a.m. That's sleeping in for me.
I know, Jerry, I know.
But then
But
again,
yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm going to be honest. I caught the tail end of this, so I don't know everything you went over. But we've got to be present and set the pace. I can't sit over here and expect my teammates to get on this training if I'm not even on it myself. Like, we've got to set the pace. And if we're promoting events, then we need to be at the events. And I mean, it starts with us. Our business starts with each and every one of us, whether we have a team of 3 or 3,000. We have to show up and we have to do the work. We can't just sit around with a bullhorn directing people to do these things if we're not doing it as well. So I agree, we have to be present. And that's pretty much all I've caught. So I'm sorry I was tardy.
You got it. You know, I was just talking about people that say one thing, like they say they want success, they say they want their team to grow, but yet I don't see them on anything. You know, I don't see them plug into anything. I don't see them tagging their team members or anything like that. And you're not going to grow that way. It's, you know, it's not like magic because it's a business and it's not a lottery ticket. And we can't, you know, you can't direct people and tell them what to do and then not do it yourself. We're not bosses, you know, we're affiliates. Anyone who's ranked who has a team, we're also affiliates. And we developed our leadership skills because that's really what it takes to build a big team is, you know, whether you want to be a super public person or not, and you don't have to be, you need to be a leader if you're going to grow a big team. Like, for example, I don't just plug people into stuff. I run the stuff, but nobody makes me do it. I just do it because number one, I want to help everybody here. Number two, I want your businesses to grow. And number three, I want my business to grow, you know? So we all grow together. And if I don't do trainings for the team, everybody just be sitting there twiddling their thumbs until somebody else stepped up and actually took charge and did it. So, and, you know, again, there's a handful of people, probably half the people on this call do trainings and promotions and all those things for their team. And so take that as a lesson for you. I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit about like how to talk to people. And you guys know I've been using LinkedIn to prospect. I know that some of you use Facebook, some of you use different platforms. That's fine. The concepts are really all the same. You know, I'm kind of using Todd Falcone's Recruiting Professionals method on LinkedIn, which is something that he personally coached me on as well. So let's go. And by the way, I just wanted to say this because somebody mentioned this to me, like if anyone that I prospect during one of these videos ever joins the team, like the reason I prospected you is because you had a sharp profile and you're a professional person and I want to work with you. So don't ever like be like, oh, look, I'm on there. But, you know, here's an example right here. So this one person I spoke to, I'll start all the way at the beginning with the script. Now, she has been with the same company. And I'm just going to open her profile in another tab here. You know, I want to know a little bit about a person, like who am I dealing with, right? So she works in a corporate type of role, marketing. And if this would ever open up, I'd be able to tell you what I wanted to tell you. But I think she's been with the same company for, say, 15 years, right? So she's been working with the same role for 15 years. And so I started off with just the teaser question, you know, hey, Gail, how's your 2020 going so far? I have a quick question when you have a minute. Thanks. So I'm just trying to get a response once again, you know, that's what I'm sending out to people. And whoever responds back to me, which I would think if you're a preferred professional in any type of sales or marketing role, if somebody reached out to you and their profile doesn't look fake, it looks like a real person, Like, why wouldn't you say, hey, what's up? What's your question? But, you know, only 4 out of 10 people do. So she says, you know, hey, Jerry, 2020 has been a blur thus far. It's hard to believe the holidays are over. How I hate to see them go, and February is peaking its head. What can I help you with, Gail? So I sent her a voice clip because sometimes I use the voice clip feature. She couldn't hear it. So I said I would type it out. And, you know, I basically said, first, I agreed how fast this year has flown by so far. The reason I reached out is because I'm helping a company expand in the Western New York area. That's where I live. You would all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing with Curbel. That's the company she's with. Totally cool either way. All right. So I'm real casual about it. And I looked at her profile. I put her company name in there. I responded to what she said to me. I don't want to sound like a robot just copying and pasting scripts here, even though I'm using one, you know? So her response is, working in marketing, the hours are long, far too long. If that, quote, outside of work equates to additional time, it would be difficult. For a while now, I've been casually looking for a new role, but one that offers more time and flexibility without compromising compensation. Thanks, Gail. So what you just tell me there, a lot of you are going to get this, okay? Don't have the time. Too busy, kind of thing, right? So here's how I respond to when somebody tells me in any sort of way that, you know, they don't have the time. And I'm talking about somebody who, obviously, she's a successful, sharp person. She has a good job at a good company and she's been with for 15 years. You know, this is somebody that I think all of you would agree, you would type of person that you would love to have join your team, right? But, you know, they have a job, they work 40 plus hours a week. They have families to attend to, kids, husbands, houses. Husbands don't take much time, by the way. You ladies might disagree. Don't have the time, you know? So here's my response to her. It's funny you should mention time and flexibility because that's exactly why I chose to do what I do. I was in your same situation, and now I work from home, control my own schedule, have earned 6 figures the past 2 years. Yes, it took some additional time and sacrifice at the beginning. It was totally worth it to be able to live a life on my terms and not someone else's. If you are at least inclined to look at the information, I can send that over to you. If not, no big deal, but I really think this could help you get what you want. Thanks for your time. So that's how I handled that, right? And I think it's, I don't know, you know, I wasn't afraid to put it on the line, is basically what I'm saying. You can't be afraid to put it on the line with people. Your story is going to be a little bit different. You know, you're not going to embellish to people. Maybe you say something, you know, like, hey, I'm in a similar situation you are, that you're in right now. But, you know, I would like to control my own schedule. You know, I want to have more time with my family. I want to earn more money. And I want to live life on my terms and not something that someone else dictates. So that's why I chose to do this. And yeah, it's probably going to take a little bit of extra time and sacrifice, but to me, that's totally worth it. So, I mean, that's how I would speak to somebody, right? Because you might say, oh, it's easy for you to say because, you know, because of the level I've gotten to after how many years I've been in the industry. But it doesn't even matter if you just started. You just be honest with somebody and you tell them why you're doing what you're doing. And if they just gave you, like she just gave me on a silver platter, all the reasons why I chose to do this business in the first place, you know? So if somebody gives you like, I don't have the time really because XYZ, and XYZ just so happens to be pretty much why you're doing this, just share that with them, because you never know. Sometimes people are just trying to put you off, but I don't know what her intentions are. She wasn't expecting me to reach out to her with an opportunity yesterday or Monday. So, I'm not expecting someone to jump on my team the second I talk to them. Like, I haven't really ever talked to her, even though she's connected to me. So you have to get in a conversation with people. That's the whole idea of prospecting, is get into a conversation with people. So after I said that, she said, sure, I'll be glad to review it. I may not have the chance until next weekend. Honestly, like, I don't know what she's doing for the next week and a half that she can't watch a couple of videos, but have a good day. So, whenever somebody gives me that, I'm just going to say, that's fine. If somebody says to you, yeah, you can send information over, but I can't look at it for at least another couple of weeks. How many people have gotten that before? Like something similar to that. I'm not going to be able to look at it till next month. I have too much going on right now. It's like, really? Like, I know you're Netflix and chilling because I see you posting about like Netflix and, whatever. But, some people in their mind, that's their reality. Okay. Their reality is they're so overwhelmed and busy that they don't have the time to look at it right now.
Jerry, do you know what Netflix
may not have a
chill
chance
means?
until next weekend. Have a good day. And I say, that's fine. Take all the time you need. This website gives a virtual video tour. If you want to talk more after reviewing, we could set up a call at that time. Enjoy the day, Jerry. And that's it. And you know what? You can bet that I set myself a reminder to recontact her after next weekend, whether she's taken the tour or not. Because number one, I'm going to know she looked at it, because you get an email if she does, right? So that's another good reason to always use the tour. You have a serious prospect, they're interested if they enter their name on the website and they look at it. But even if she doesn't, I'm still going to circle back to her after next weekend. And I'm going to say something like, hey, gal, I'm just checking back in with you. How's everything going? We spoke about a week and a half ago, and you mentioned to me that you might be open to looking at an opportunity to make some extra cash on the side, or however you want to say it, however, that you wouldn't get a chance to look at it until this past weekend. So since that weekend has now passed by, I wanted to see where you're at, didn't see your name come through. Are you still open to taking a look? If she tells me no, that's fine. Or if she sees my message and doesn't respond, that's fine. But what you have to understand is that exposures, right? You ever see the numbers for sales that like the vast majority of all sales are made on the 5th contact and beyond? And that 90% of all salespeople give up after less than 3 contacts. So this is not sales. We're not necessarily selling somebody something, but the same concept applies. If somebody tells you, yes, they're open, but they don't take the tour, you don't want to give up on that person. You want to keep following up with them until they tell you to stop. Okay. And I'm not saying, like, my rule of thumb is if they give me a time frame, like she gave me a time frame. She said after next weekend. So that's when I'm going to follow up with her. If somebody doesn't give me a time frame, I'm going to give it 48 hours. If they haven't taken the tour, I'm following up. If they tell me yes, they're still open and looking at it, I'm going to give them another 48 hours. I'm going to follow up again. After I follow up like 2-3 times, I'm not going to keep following up every 2 days. The third time I might send them, hey, just thought I'd check back with you one last time for now. If you're open to taking a look at the opportunity, I am helping new people at this moment get their businesses started. If you're not open or you're just too busy right now or whatever the reason is, totally cool. But I'm not going to forget that person because I have them on my spreadsheet of my potentials, right? So every once in a while, I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet here. Whenever somebody tells me they're open, I add their name to this sheet. And if I haven't spoken to that person in say like a month or whatever, or a couple months, I'm going to send them a quick message. Hey, haven't spoken to you for a couple months. You know, how's your situation with blah, blah, blah going? Keep in touch with people. It doesn't always have to be to pitch your business, but keep in touch with people because it's all timing in this industry. It's all timing. If somebody's time isn't today or isn't next week, it might be next month. It might be 6 months from now. It might be a year from now. But once you plant that seed, if you stop watering that seed, it's going to die very quickly, you know? You have to water it a few times, like frequently in the beginning, to let somebody know that, hey, I'm serious about this. Like, I'm serious about building a business. But after that initial few waterings, you can back off and just water it every now and then. But just know that, like any other plant, that if you don't water it, it will die. It will be forgotten about. So make sure that you go through your potential list and you just, you know, handful of people a day that you haven't spoken to for like a month or two or whatever, just send them a message and see how everything's going. You know, are you still as busy as you were 2 months ago? What's new? Anybody have any questions on that stuff? Anything to add? Or anything different from what I said?
I just want to add, don't overwater.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you don't want to seem desperate or needy or pushy. Part of the reason that one of the reasons there's a stigma around network marketing is because you'll get people that are very pushy, very needy, and very desperate. They'll bug the crap out of you to buy something, right? I don't know about you guys, but when somebody bugs the crap out of me, I don't want to buy it anymore. Like, get out of my face. So initially in the beginning, you know, I would give it that 2-3 follow-ups, whatever feels right. You know, 48 hours after the first contact, 48 hours after the second contact, and then after that, you've contacted them 3 times. You know, if it's not going anywhere, put them in your every once in a while list, because you're looking for people that are ready now, that are looking for something now. That's really like, that's what you're doing when you're prospecting. You're searching, you're planting seeds, yes, but you're also looking for people that are ready now. And in order to find the ones that are ready now, you can't keep recycling through the same people. You have to keep going forward, going forward, going forward. And then you can go back, water a little bit more, let it go for a while. Go back, water a little bit more, let it go for a while. You know, then you're not desperate or needy. And when you're letting it go for a while and you're coming back, you're not saying, hey, it's been 2 months. Have you thought about the business at all? No, you're not, you know, you're just saying, hey, how's it going? Been a while since we spoke, you know. Remember, keep good note. Like if you're messaging people on social media, you could scroll back and see what you spoke about. You know, maybe they were working on a huge project the last time you talked to them, right? So you could scroll back, see what you spoke about. You haven't talked to them for 2 months. Hey, how's everything going? Last time I talked to you, you're working on this big project with blah, blah, blah. You know, how did that turn out? Just ask them questions about themselves. A lot of times when you do that, they might actually bring up the business that you spoke to them about 2 months ago. But if every single time you follow up, it's because you want something, like, I want to know if you thought more about the business. I want to know if you thought more about these products. Like, you can't continuously take withdrawals out of a bank account that you haven't made any deposits into. right? Because then you go into overdraft. And you're not going to get anyone to partner with you that way because you're being a pain in the butt. Nobody wants to join a pain in the butt in business, right, Nikki?
Correct.
Be persistent in a professional manner. Care more about them than you care about them signing up. That's the key.
Hey, Jerry.
Yeah.
For me, I think it made more sense. Like, yeah, you go out and you ask somebody, you prospect somebody, you find out if they're open. Don't just stop the conversation there. Engage on their content. Go out and engage on their posts, engage on their stories. That's going to give you stuff to talk about. And then maybe 3 days go by. Hey, you're not a stranger. You're not just asking if they're into opportunity. If they're not, I'm not going to talk to you. But just keep engaging. Hey, talk on their story. Talk to them about that. See that, let them know that you actually care. And when they see that, you can say, hey, do you give any more thought to this? If not, not a big deal. I'm not trying to rush you, just asking. And they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to look at that today.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeps you top of mind, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like the way the algorithm works is if you message someone on Facebook, or even if you message someone on LinkedIn, you have an exchange with them back and forth, that platform will actually start to show you some of their posts. So, liking and making a comment, not just liking, but making a comment, like Mike said, is keeping you top of mind with them. Because even though you're not bringing it up, every time they know you spoke about it, so every time they see your face, it's going to pop into their head. Oh yeah, that CBD business. Maybe I should think about that. But it's kind of a roundabout way of following up without actually following up. All right, I said I wanted to do some live prospecting, right? So I got to at least message 5 people today or more. Paul, you like live prospecting, don't you?
I have live prospecting starting in 25 minutes. I do. I love it. I'm ready to learn something, Jerry.
All right, so let's get to it.
Have you paid for the this is totally off topic. On LinkedIn, what's it called? Sales Recruiter? It's something. I paid for that and I ended up stopping it. What do you think about it?
Well, I paid for it for a year once, okay? And that was in 2017. And it was useful, but the thing is that I'm not convinced that you really need to pay for it. I mean, you
See, that's me.
message a whole bunch of people that aren't connected to you on LinkedIn no matter what, So
I just wanted your input because I had a few people ask me about it in the past couple of days. And my opinion was I could do pretty much just as much with my basic account as that. Like, it wasn't that worth it to me, but I only kept it for 3 months.
if you're just building your network, if you're looking new to LinkedIn, building your network person, don't pay for that. You don't need to.
Yeah.
You can connect with people and then you can message with them after you connect. Just make sure that when people don't accept your connection request after a couple days, withdraw it. This way you're not building up too many, because if you build up too many, LinkedIn's going to think you're a bot or something, and they're going to, and don't be sending messages to a whole bunch of people that you're not a connection with. It doesn't let you anyway. But the thing is, Paula, I paid for it for a year and then I canceled it. But for some reason, LinkedIn allowed me to keep a lot of the features. I could still see everyone that's looked at my profile. I still have Recruiter on here. I still have Navigator. So I don't know why it never got dropped, but I haven't paid for it in 2 years. And I still have all that stuff. So if anyone from LinkedIn's watching, do not cancel my stuff.
I haven't even paid attention to mine, really.
All right, so this guy is someone I used to work with. I like to just real quick check people's profiles first before I message them sometimes, because I want to see like where they're working. All right, so this guy is still, I don't know. He's been at the same company for 21 years. Okay. Sometimes I don't think those are the greatest prospects. Sometimes I think the best prospects are the people that jump around a lot every 2-3 years, just because they're obviously looking for more money or for something better, right? Someone's been somewhere for 20 years or 30 years. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should prejudge them. It's just, it's different, you know? So I have my script here, and I'm going to copy the first portion of it. It's the same thing that I went over before, that I've done on previous. So I'm going to change it a little bit. Hey, Todd, how's everything going at BVK? Quick question when you have a minute. Thanks. Boom. So actually, I used to have a business like connection with that guy when I had my job that I sat in a gray cubicle from 2008 to 2010. Jay Paletti, New Orleans. If you're mentioning specific areas, like I mentioned Western New York, just make sure they're, make sure they're not outside the area that you're talking about. But if you mess up on a copy paste, it's really no big deal. Just, don't beat yourself up over it. Hey Jay, how's your 2020 going so far? I have a quick question. You have a minute. That's it. Boom. So this guy says visionary entrepreneur and business owner. All right, so let's see. Hey Kenny, how's your 2020 going so far? I have a quick question when you have a minute. Send. Founder of Tip Club. Right, so this guy I actually have spoken to before. He runs like a networking organization. How great would that be? So I'm gonna say, hey Michael, how's your 2020 going so far? I have a quick question when you have a minute. And it looks like Todd got back to me. Actually, I just want to message one more person here. Lewis. I don't know who this guy is. When did I talk to him? All right, so it looks like this is going to be a follow-up because I talked to this guy asked me about products before. Boom. Oh my God. All right, so Todd says BVK was bought out 3 years ago and we all were given 2 weeks notice with no severance. Thank you for 18 years of your life and service. Now off with you. So with that, what is your question? I'm going to say, oh my goodness. That's terrible. I'm so sorry to bring up a bad memory. From your profile, it looked like you were still there.
And that's why you don't prejudge people.
Yeah, I apologize.
my profile on LinkedIn, it still says I'm a life insurance agent and I can't figure out how to change it. So I've got people that are like congratulating me on my 2 years of being there. And I'm like, I've changed it. I'm not there.
All right. So, obviously, I didn't know this. I used to work in Yellow Pages, guys. That's the company I worked for. It was called Talking Phone Book. And this guy worked for an agency. So I was in national sales and I would deal with agency representatives to get their advertisers to place ads in our books. And this was a guy that I used to talk to about several different clients. So I'm just going to start a conversation with him a little bit because I'm not going to say, yeah, sorry about that. So do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money? In addition to whatever the heck it's been you're doing since you got fired. No, I'm not going to say that, right? Oh, see, oh my goodness, that's terrible. So sorry to bring up a bad memory. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we still got time. Yeah, I can message a few people here. Why not, right? I only got one person responding to me. You got to think on your feet though, like I use this script, but it's really, like I said, about getting in conversations with people. Okay, that's funny. All right, so he says, no problem. I haven't updated my profile as I need to, but a slow work in progress. 3 years in parentheses. So while he's writing me back, I'm gonna just send a quick message to somebody else. So as you guys could see, I'm just reaching out to people. That's really all it is. If you want to grow faster, you have to actively reach out to people every day. Pick a number that you can do, whether it's 3 a day or 2 a day or 5 a day or 10 a day, it doesn't really matter. Pick a reasonable number that you can accomplish every single day before you lay your head down at night, even if it's 1 or 2. Like, even if you say to yourself, you know what, I'm working 55 hours a week. I got all this family stuff going on, but, and I'm going to plug into some of these trainings, but there's no way I am laying my head down at night until I've reached out to at least 2 new people about my business or my products. Because even if you have a small number, if you're consistent, you're going to get results from it, Like, let's say you just did 2 a day every day, right? There's 30 days in a month, usually around there. That's 60 new people every month that you're planting a seed. So you're going to make progress, right? So I don't want to get too personal here, but I guess he dealt with I guess it kind of ruined his life at the time, is what he's telling me, that he was in depression, and he's trying to get back on his feet this past October. So I don't know if it's a good time for someone to join a business in network marketing, because maybe he needs a job to pay the bills. See, you always have to be thinking, like, what's the best thing for the other person? Am I going to ask him? I mean, yeah, I will ask him, but I'm going to continue, like, I'm going to continue this conversation maybe after I get off this call. Okay.
Well,
So-
yeah, I agree. That seems kind of personal.
But you know
Yeah.
what? I'm going to be a friend. I from Mike Allen just came across your profile and thought you were really cute.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That guy looks like a sucker, Jerry. Sell him a big pack.
But you know what? The opportunity, never pass up on the opportunity to make a new friend, even if somebody tells you no right away. Because even if they tell you, even if they say no, not really right now, I'm too busy, but you know, I usually say, well, that's cool. You know, what is it that has you so busy right now? I'm still going to act interested in that person as a friend because it's all timing, you know? So when you're doing stuff like this, the goal is to prospect, but prospecting isn't just pitching your business opportunity. Prospecting is also reaching out to a person, making a connection, reaching out a hand and letting them know you're there. And then if you get the opportunity to let them know that you're interested or you care about whatever it is they tell you. You know, because if I act like to someone like Todd, for example, if I act like I couldn't give two shits about the situation that he's gone through, all I want to do is pitch him on my deal, Todd's not going to care about joining my deal. and you know, honestly, maybe I have an advantage because I really do care. Like, I really do care more about Todd and any of you and anyone I talk to than I care about whether or not they join my deal. And maybe that is a lot to do with personal development, but I've learned this over time to care more about people. When you care more about people than you care about, you know, or you're just another number that I'm pitching my business opportunity to, you're actually going to get better results. You know?
Todd
And
actually seems like he needs a friend right now anyway.
yeah, and you know, and I've talked to Todd before, and I do want to message him back. But you know, I don't want to get into a deep private conversation on a training. So
I think one of the biggest things that people need to understand, especially people who are watching this for the first time, the goal with what we're doing here is not to get an immediate sign up while we're on this live. The goal is to connect with new people and grow our list of leads. Like, that's the goal. So you can't do this for 10 minutes one day, which you're going to get results. If you do it for 10 minutes, you're going to get some kind of results. But you can't just give it 10 minutes and say, well, nobody joined, I'm done. You've got to stay consistent with what you're doing and build your list. Because what we're doing is gathering leads and making new connections. So I wanted to throw that in there because it seems like a lot of people want instant gratification, and nothing to do with this Zoom or even one that I've done, but it was about 4 months ago, I was actually watching a YouTube live, and it was something a little similar to this. And I saw several people start throwing in the comments, well, if you're so good, why didn't you get a sign up while you're doing this, you know? And they're missing the whole outcome. Like, the point is not to actually get a sign up while you're doing it, which you very well could. The point is that we're building our list of leads and that it's effective and it works.
exactly. And Paula, while you were talking, I just reached out to like 4 more people. People don't respond. I'm going to stop this screen share right now. People don't respond on LinkedIn as fast as they do on Messenger, you know? It's not like Messenger where you shoot someone a message and they get it right away and they reply back. Not that everybody does, because some people don't check their Messenger, but you know, on LinkedIn, I'll get replies like an hour later in the day, sometimes the next day. I've even gotten replies like a week later, or someone replied to me a month after I messaged them and said, hey, I'm hardly ever on here. I just saw your message. What's your question? So sometimes you just have to reach out to people if you're using LinkedIn until you get a couple people responding, and then you have some people to have a conversation with and talk to, and at least ask them if they're open. Same thing on Facebook or other platforms though, like my suggestion is if you're doing this on Facebook, you're probably going to start getting responses faster. So if you sat down with a list of say 15 to 20 names at the most of people that you're connected to on Facebook that you're going to reach out to, by the time you get through like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like people are typically going to start replying to you, hey, what's up? And at that point, you really have to stop messaging new people and just focus on the people that replied back and are talking to you. Give them attention and the time to actually think about and have a thoughtful conversation. Because personally, I think 5 meaningful conversations is way more valuable than like 10 conversations that are just like, I'm not even paying attention to you. I'm just trying to copy and paste my next script to you. Because even if they're not
Jerry,
with marketing, people catch on to that stuff. What's up, Luke?
Jerry, do you find out that, do you find that people on LinkedIn are more pitching their business to you than Facebook? Because that's what I'm running into. I'll say, hi, how's it going? And they'll go, here, hi. And then they'll put their link and start, it's like every one of them.
You do. Are you talking about other marketers or just
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah, I
So
went yesterday to the sales, and out of the 10 people on LinkedIn, all of them came back and gave me their pitch on their business.
well,
I'm like, what am I doing?
if it's another network marketer, then maybe try to target professionals that are not already in a network marketing company. I don't,
Yeah, I just find it harder on
I'm
LinkedIn.
not reaching out to people that are like in other network marketing companies. And if I do reach out to someone who's in a network marketing company, it's
Mhm.
just to say, hey, how's everything going? Because I know
Okay.
they're already doing a business, right? So I just really want to be their friend. I want to support them. I don't want to be the dude in your inbox saying, how long are you going to do that stupid company for? You should quit and join mine. I'm not going to be that guy.
Right. I'm not
Because
that
even if
either.
we're going to make a change, it's probably not going to be with that guy or gal that is putting down their company saying mine's better. You should join me.
Okay.
But sometimes people start asking you questions and then you have an opportunity to talk about it. But whatever somebody's doing, if it's in another network marketing business and they say, oh, I'm in X company, blah, 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 I've been doing it for 6 months. I always compliment them. I always say, yeah, that's a great company and really good products. Because you know what? That person made a decision to join that company at some point in time because they really liked the products and they really were excited about it. So I'm
Right.
not gonna put that down, because the second I start talking crap about their company or their products, or mine are better, I'm basically saying to them that you're stupid because you joined this dumb deal.
Right.
And I never
I
want
don't
to
do that
come across
either.
that way to somebody. The way I want to come across is, for me, is basically, hey, if you ever need help with anything or advice, I'm more than happy to help you out. And sometimes I'll even say to them, hey, if you're ever looking to do something different, I would love to work with a rock star like you. Give them a compliment and just move on. But when you're talking to professionals, like, you shouldn't get that.
Okay. So maybe it was all
job.
networkers I went to.
But
I
all
have to go back and look.
LinkedIn that are like selling leads, what you get on LinkedIn is a lot of people like that want to teach you how to set up the Rockstar profile and how to generate more leads and this, that, and the other thing. And I can tell you right now, like 99% of them get like almost zero engagement on their posts. And I've even gone to their wall before once they pitched me, and I've come back and I just said, well, how well is it working for you? Because I just looked at a few of your posts and I noticed that you only have like a total of 3 likes on the last 2 posts.
That's a good one.
Maybe you need help. I actually teach people how to get more engagement. I don't want to put them down, but you're trying to
Right.
do something that you're not even able to do yourself. How are you going to
Exactly.
speak on it? Opted into your ClickFunnels or your MLSP page? I don't think so, right?
Right. All right, thanks.
Like if I want to learn how to generate tons of free leads, I'll just reach out to Diane Hockman and she'll tell me. You know, she always edifies me on her training, so I'm going to edify Diane Hockman, even though she's in another company. Great lady and knows how to work social media.
What's her last name?
Hockman, Hochman.
Okay, I know her. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying Hawk.
I've never heard of her.
In fact, Diane Hockman's real life mentor was Jim Rohn. Okay. She's got a picture of her with him that she posted once in a while. So that's not a bad mentor to have. Was there any questions in here that I missed? Because there was like 29 messages and I didn't read them all.
No, we were just picking on you about Netflix and chill.
Okay. For the record, you're allowed to watch Netflix if you're in network marketing, okay? Don't
Good.
sure you take time to prospect people. If you're not prospecting, then give up a little bit of Netflix time to make sure you get it in. But yes, you know, I watch football. Yes, I do Netflix sometimes. But
What
I
about playing golf?
also spend time on my business every day. And that's what matters.
Right.
You enjoy life if you're an entrepreneur. In case anyone's wondering, you know, it's not a life destitute of zero television and no free time. So that is all I have for today. Thank you everybody for joining us on this training. Have a good one.